Hello students, I am Miss Nemal from my team Wisdom. Today we'll learn about algebraic expressions. So do you remember in arithmetics we used to do questions like 1 plus 2 is equals to what is 3? But in algebra we write the unknown numbers by a letter. And this unknown letter is called a variable in algebra. So the above equation is a numerical expression because it has numbers, but the equation below is an algebraic expression because it has a letter. The unknown number can be represented by any letter from A to Z, but mostly the variables that are used are x, y, and z. So here we have an expression 5x plus 4 is equal to 25. We're going to divide this expression. So the number 5 is called a coefficient because it has a variable next to it. This letter is called a variable. The next number 4 is called a constant because it has no variable next to it, and 25 is also a constant. Now we're going to talk about terms. 5 is only one term. But 5x, what about this? This is also one term. But what about 5 plus x? We would consider 5 plus x as two terms. 5 is one term and the second term is x. 5 by 2. This is also one term. Now we have another expression 5x plus 4 minus 3. Now this is three terms. 5x is one term, 4 is the second term, and 3 is the third term. The plus and minus separates the terms, but if we have the multiplication sign or the division sign, we would consider that as only one term. There are two types of terms, like terms and unlike terms. Like terms are the ones that have the same variables, and the power of the variables are also the same. Unlike terms are the ones that have the different variables, or it could have same variables but different power. So now we're going to look at some of the examples. First, we are going to check their variables. Are the variables same? Yes, they are. Both of the coefficients have the variable x, so this is a like term. In the next example, when we see, the first thing we're going to see, are the variables same? Yes, they are. The next thing we're going to see, are the powers same? Now this has power 2 and this doesn't have power 2, so the powers are different. This is going to be an unlike term. In the third example, are the variables same? No, they're not, so it's going to be an unlike term. 6y squared plus 4x squared. The variables are different but the powers are the same. So this is also going to be an unlike term because the variables are different. 7y squared plus 9y squared. Now this has the same variable and the power is same as well. So this is going to be a like term. Now we're going to learn additive rules. The first one is when we have two plus signs, both of the numbers are added. For example, 6y plus 8y. Now we could see both of them have the same sign, so we are going to add them. So 6y plus 8y is 14y. And another thing you have to keep in mind that only like terms can be added. So when we have two unlike terms, we cannot add them. The second example is minus and minus. So when two numbers have the minus sign, we are going to add them. So minus 2y minus 8y. Both of them have the minus sign, subtract sign. We're going to add them, that makes minus 10y. And the question is, how do we know what sign we're going to put on. So then we're going to look at the greater number. Is 8 greater or 2? 8 is greater. And 8 has what sign? 8 has the minus sign. So we're going to put the sign of the greater number, which is minus 8. The next one is plus minus. So if we have a number that the first one has the plus sign, the next one has the minus sign, we are going to subtract these numbers. So plus 3y minus 3y, both of them have the different signs. We're going to subtract them, which makes minus 6y. 9 was the greater number over here, that's why we use the minus sign over here. The next one is the first number has the minus sign, the next number has the plus sign, so we would subtract them. For example, minus 7y plus 10y, both of them has different signs, so we're going to subtract them, which makes 3y. And how do we know that we have to use the plus sign? Because 10 is the greater number and we use the sign of the greater number. And anyways, the shortcut to learn this, instead of learning it like this, plus plus is equals to plus, minus minus plus, plus minus minus, that's like really confusing. What I teach my students is, if both the signs are same, you're going to add them. If both the signs are different, we're going to subtract them. Easy as that. And what sign are you going to use at the end? Obviously the sign the greater number has. Now we have a question to solve. 2a plus 3b plus 4a plus 7b. So our first step, what we're going to do is we're going to put together the like terms. So 2a plus 4a are the like terms and 3b plus 7b are the like terms. We put the like terms together. Now our next step would be we're going to add the like terms. 2a plus 4a and 3b plus 7b. We get the answer 6a plus 10b. As I've told you before, we cannot add the unlike terms. So this question cannot be processed further. So that would be our final answer. And one more thing I have to tell you. Now you can see 2a has no sign before it, right? So a number that has no sign before it, we would consider that it has the plus sign. So we have another question to solve. Now our first step is we're going to put the like terms together, a and a together, and b together. So here we'll put the like terms together. Now our next step is we're going to solve the like terms. So these like terms have different signs, so we are going to subtract them. When we subtract this, we get the answer 2a, but we're going to use the sign of the bigger number. 3 is the bigger one here, so we put the plus sign. Now looking at the second terms, these also have different signs, so we're going to be subtracting them. When we subtract them, we get the answers 3b. 4 is the bigger number here, which has the minus sign, so we are also going to use the minus sign. This is our final answer. So we have another question. Our first step is putting the like terms together. We put the a squares together, the a's together, and the constants together. Our next step would be, first we're going to solve these two. So both of them have different signs, so we're going to subtract them. And when we subtract them, we get minus 1a squared plus, and we're going to write this as it is. Solving the next terms, we're going to solve the first two. Both of them have different signs, so we're going to subtract them. And when we subtract them, we get the answer a. Like whenever you get 1 as an answer, it doesn't matter if you write 1 as a coefficient or not. So a has no coefficient, that means this is a 1 over here. And we're going to write 6a as it is. Now we're going to solve these two. Now both of them have the same signs. So these two numbers are going to be added, which becomes 5, and we're going to use the sign of the greater number, which is 3. And 7 goes as it is. Now we're going to solve these two, and then these two, and then these two. When we solve these two, we get the answer 1a square, and this number is going to be positive because we used the sign of the greater number, and 2 is a greater number over here. And then when we solve these two have the same signs. We're going to add them, which is 7a, and these two have different signs. We're going to subtract them using the sign of the greater number, which becomes plus 2. Thanks for watching the video. If you get any difficulty for this topic or you want a video on another topic, please suggest and share your doubts in the comment box. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Keep learning. Thank you.